Yo, good morning, YouTube. This is Ed, the Family Man, and I am coming to you guys. This camera is shaking. I am in my truck, obviously, at work on my way to drop off my last load, actually. For those of you that know, I've been doing like really short runs. Usually I'm doing, well, for the past few weeks, I've been just going to San Bernardino from Ontario. For those of you that are familiar with the Inland Empire, Southern California area. Just back and forth, man, doing 3 loads a night because of the fact that my wife just had our baby girl a couple of weeks ago. And so she had a C-section done. And so because of that, you know, it takes a while to recover. She can't drive or really do any heavy lifting and all of that stuff for a while until she heals. So I got a 6-year-old son, 15-year-old daughter at home, and they're both in school. So I got to make sure I get off in time to get them to school and, you know, be able to just help my wife out as much as I can. And I also have a 2-year-old at home too. So I told the dispatcher to kind of keep me close so I can get back and forth to the house in time to make breakfast, all of that stuff, get the kids off to school, and, you know, come back and be able to help her out. So that's pretty much what they've been doing, man. And the money is a lot less than what I'm used to making, but to be honest with you, I'm enjoying getting off early. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I am saving a lot more in fuel as opposed to the routes that I'm usually running. So that's actually a good thing, but at the end of the day, I'd rather make the money. So as soon as she's better, which she's a lot better now as far as being able to move around and all of that stuff, then it's going to be back to the regular program, you know, and try to make as much as I can. So, but anyway, enough talk about all of that. For those of you that are just now tuning in and first time watching, welcome to my channel. Appreciate you checking out my video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. You know, hit the bell notifications. I know I've been having some issues with that as far as, like, you know, family is concerned, saying that they wasn't able to do it. So I'm trying to figure this thing out, man. I'm new to all of this YouTube recording and uploading videos and all of that stuff. It's been a little bit of a struggle at times because I've been using that iMovie to upload my videos, and sometimes, man, it be tripping out. You know, my videos be playing real fast, like warp speed, you know, just flying through the videos when you push play, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? But I'm trying to figure it out. So right now I'm recording on my iPhone. I usually record on my GoPro, but whenever I try to upload from my GoPro into iMovie, I've been having a lot of issues. So I decided to, I actually had already talked about this on a video that I recorded, and for some reason I couldn't get it to upload right, so I ended up having to delete that content. So now I'm doing it all over again. So the topic of this video is, should I get my CDL? And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I've gotten questions, you know, from people that I work with the company that I pull loads for, mainly like people in the warehouse, or, you know, even people that find out that I'm a truck driver, you know, people that I meet or whatever. You know, truck drivers, you can always tell, man, they got the headset on, the truck driver earpiece and all of that stuff. So, you know, you get people that ask you, hey, you know, you drive trucks, how long you been driving, you know, this and that, how is it? And so basically, I just kind of want to touch on that, and just pretty much talk about the pros and the cons, or why you shouldn't get your CDL. And I also been seeing a lot of, it's the box truck industry been booming, man, lately. And I mean, I know, I hate to say it, but them PPP loans, man, that people been getting, man. I mean, I'm glad a lot of people that's been getting those loans, that they actually doing something positive with it, and doing good with it, as opposed to just blowing it on a bunch of stuff that don't make no sense. So I get it, you know what I mean? And then the fact that with a box truck, you can jump into trucking, not necessarily like what I do with the 18-wheeler, but you can jump into trucking and start a business, man, and running these loads with Amazon and stuff without actually having a CDL. So that's the main reason why this box truck industry has been taken off like it has. And of course, that causes a bigger demand for box trucks, which then causes the price for box trucks to skyrocket. Let me speed up, man. We got a driver here. The company that I pull for, one of their company drivers, is going to the same place I'm going to, and I don't want him to beat me there. I'm trying to hurry up and get up out of here. But anyway, it's causing a lot of people to be purchasing these box trucks. So the box trucks are expensive, man. They're like really pricey right now. So, but yeah, so you don't necessarily have to get your CDL in order to get into doing something like that. But in my opinion, having a CDL is really good, man. Like, I've been driving for almost 20 years now. I started right around the age of 21, I think it was. I think I was around that age when I went to truck driving school, me and a buddy of mine. This was a while ago. I think we went back in 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. We went to truck driving school, and the rest is history, man. And I'm not gonna lie and say that I've had some ups and downs, because you do, especially when you first start out. Like, I've seen a lot of people go to these truck driving schools, and it's like these little mom and pop type truck driving schools where they're teaching you how to bag up with these little bitty small, like, flatbed trailers, or the little small 28-foot, they call them pup trailers. And yeah, they react a whole lot quicker when you're bagging up, but it still doesn't compare, to me, in my opinion, it doesn't compare to bagging up a 53-foot trailer or learning how to drive with a 53-foot trailer. And the reason why I say that is because when you're out there on the streets in regular city traffic or whatever, and you're making these turns on some of these streets when you get off the freeway and all of that stuff, you have to be able to pretty much gauge your turning points, and where you're going to turn at, to compensate for the length and the swing of your trailer. So, like, if you're making a right-hand turn, you got to know how far out you got to pull, into the intersection before you start that right-hand turn, to make sure your trailer clears the curb, so you don't knock down a light pole, or the stop light, or if somebody's standing on the curb, you don't want to jump the curb and hit somebody, or you making turns and you hit a car or something like that. So to me, the 53-foot trailers are better to train with than those little small pup trailers, because it doesn't really give you a real, I guess you could say, like a real life depiction of what you're going to see out there when you get with a company and you pulling these 53 and 48-foot trailers. So if you want to go that route, that's cool. And I know a lot of people do go that route because they don't. The majority of the time, they're going to get with a company that's local, and they probably want to just drive local. They don't want to go over the road. A lot of these bigger carriers that offer truck driver training, a lot of them are going to have you sign a contract to where you have to work for them for like a year, 2 years or more. And the training is totally free. And basically, you know, they pay for everything. They pay for you to get your license or whatever. And then you actually drive for them for a while to pretty much pay off your training. And then you're also getting that experience. So like I went through CR England when I started driving, and it was the same thing. You know, we had to sign a 2-year contract, and within that contract, you know, we would work for them for 2 years, and our schooling is completely paid for. If you were to quit or leave within that time frame, you know, you got to pay the full price of that. And so, which is cool, you know. You get your training, and you know, you get that experience out there on the road. And that's another, I guess you could say these are the cons of getting your CDL, because you're going to be out there on the road. If you got a family, you got kids, you know, wife at home or whatever would have you, you're going to be away from your family. And depending on, like, one thing that they really don't tell you that I would suggest that people ask questions. That's the biggest thing, man. When you going through these big companies to get your CDL, ask questions, man. Talk to these recruiters. Ask questions, you know. Ask them to put you with somebody that doesn't smoke. You know, if you're not a smoker and you don't want to be around somebody that smokes cigarettes, you know, tell them to put you with somebody that's like that. Tell them to put you with somebody that's clean. Because some of these truck drivers, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Some of these truck drivers is nasty. They don't like to take showers, you know, and just they trucks be filthy, and it's all kind of crazy stuff, man, that be going on with these drivers, man. Some of these drivers out here. And then you got some of these drivers, they love being out on the road. You know, some of them, this is their lifestyle. You know, some of them don't even have houses. They just live their whole life just traveling, driving, saving money. You know, they just kind of like, I guess you could say, like a drifter or a wanderer. You know, they go from city to city. They take showers at truck stops, you know, or they might even go to a family member's house on their downtime. But you got to make sure that you tell you know, these recruiters and stuff, man, to put you with somebody that might get home frequently. You know, they probably go out maybe like a couple of weeks or maybe like a month or whatever, and then they go back home. And then speaking of that, you also want to make sure that they put you with somebody that lives in your area, that lives close to where you live. You know, you don't want to get hooked up with a trainer that lives in, you know, let's just say like a big city or a big state like Texas. You don't want to get hooked up with somebody that lives in Houston and you live in Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it can be okay if you don't mind driving, you know, those many hours to get home. But you pretty much want to stay with somebody, or, you know, have them place you with a trainer that's within, you know, 50 miles of where you live. You know, so that way when they go home on their home time and you down on your home time, you can get to your house with your family, your loved ones, with no problem, no issues. You don't want to have that trainer, you know, dropping you off at the terminal, the closest that he can get to your house, and then you got to catch a flight home, you know, paying all that money to get home, or, you know, having to drive for hours, you know, just to get home. So definitely want to make sure that you get hooked up with the right person. Another one in as far as getting your CDL, man, is I would say just having to deal with, being gone for one. I know I kind of said that, but just being away from your family and then just putting in that work out there on the road, because you got to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues while you're out there on the road. It might be a couple of years. You might get lucky in the company that you with, because a lot of these companies, they have local positions, and so you might get lucky and only be out on the road for 6 months, especially if you got a family and local is what you want to do. Put that time in, man. I know it's hard and a lot of people don't really want to do it. You may not have the patience to do it, but get that experience. Soak up as much knowledge as you can about the industry, about the truck, about driving, hours of service, all of that stuff, man. Soak up as much knowledge as you can. Hopefully you get hooked up with a really, really good trainer, and you can soak up a whole lot of game, from a good solid trainer that's gonna really help you out to, help you succeed. So hopefully, that'll be the case. But that's pretty much it, man, as far as the cons, as far as I'm concerned, with getting your CDL and first starting out, is just trying to, another thing, and this is another big con about getting your CDL and first starting out, is the pay. This is probably one of the biggest things, aside from being away from your family, is the pay. So when you start out training, when you with that trainer, you're not gonna make no money. I'm telling you now. So for those of y'all that's looking to get your CDL and to get started, I don't want you to get out there and be shocked and disappointed, but you ain't gonna make no money. You gonna make your checks ain't gonna be nothing. So my suggestion is to try to live, especially when you in that truck. Go buy food. I'm talking about at the store. Go buy bread, go buy bologna, stuff to make sandwiches, chips, drinks, water. If you want to eat out every now and again at the truck stops or whatever, little fast food spots. But do not burn all of your money on buying food at these truck stops, because you're going to blow through it like that. And then the rest of your money, man, send it home, because you pretty much, you living in the truck. Your showers and everything is free at the truck stops. When you fuel, you get fuel points, and you get shower credits and all of that stuff. So send your money home, man, to get your bills paid, or put it, stack it in your bank account, and make sure you pay your bills when you're out there on the road. And but yeah, so just don't look forward to making a whole lot of money. And even when you get on your own, a lot of these over-the-road companies, man, especially these big ones that got a lot of drivers, and you don't have that experience when you first start out, they're not gonna pay you top dollar at all. So you can expect to, not really make a whole lot of money. And I look at it now, especially being an owner-operator and working locally, even when I was a local company driver, being home every day and seeing what my checks was, I was literally making the same amount that I was making being out there on the road when I first started, as I'm making being home every day. And I've been gone, for months at a time, especially when I first started out, man. It's like, what in the world? To me, it wasn't worth it, but I knew what I had to do. I had a goal in mind. I knew I was, trying to get that experience under my belt, because the ultimate goal for me was to become a local driver, and I was able to do that. And then later on down the road, I became an owner-operator. But yeah, just don't expect to make a whole lot of money. But I think that's pretty much it for the cons or whatever. But as far as the pros, I mean, the biggest one, man, is you got your CDL. That's the biggest pro in the getting your CDL is you have it. And the reason why I say that is because the trucking industry is huge, man. And they don't have enough drivers to handle the volume of loads, man, that need to be, the volume of freight that need to be moved across the United States. They just don't have the manpower to do it. And so the money is just there, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to always have a job. Like, even when the recession hit in 2008, I wasn't affected by it. You know what I mean? Even with COVID, you know, I was affected by it a little bit because I ended up catching it and got sick. But thank God for my older brother, who's a driver too. He's been driving longer than me. That's what kind of inspired me to get into driving. But he actually covered my routes for me, jumped in the truck for me. But and then the company that I pull for, we haul beer. And so when COVID hit, they shut down the plant in Mexico, which we do a lot of imported beer from Mexico. And so that kind of slowed down the load value. And so I took a big hit, I ain't gonna lie. Wasn't getting that many loads, but at the same time, I was still working. And then I had Amazon too to fall back on. I always had an account with them when I first got into it back in 2019. I signed up with Amazon and I had my own trailer and was doing all of that stuff. But yeah, man, just having your CDL is a blessing. You know, like I said, you always gonna have work. You ain't gotta worry about not having a job. Because it's always a company that's hiring. Always somebody hiring, trust me. Another pro is, you know, like I said, you always have a job, and so job security. But once you get that experience under your belt, you can make a lot of money driving trucks. You can make a lot of money driving trucks, man. You get with these companies, a lot of these local companies are paying over $20 an hour. You know, especially if you have that experience, you definitely gonna get paid and you definitely gonna make some good money. So that's another pro. Another pro to it. Hold on, I just got to this stop, man. Y'all give me a second. Alright, sorry about that. We are back. I had to drop the hook on my trailer real quick. But yeah, like I was saying, one of the pros to having your CDL is once you get that training under your belt, you know, you can make a lot more money. And if you run it with like some of these major companies that pay per mile, you know, they're gonna bump your percentage up. If you run it with some of these local companies, like I said, a lot of these companies now are paying well over $20 an hour for local drivers. And so you got the opportunity to make really, really good money in driving trucks. And honestly, like, this is the best decision that I made, you know, way back then, is to go to truck driving school. Like, man, I've been blessed to be able to provide and have so many things that I didn't have before, or even, you know, I didn't have working security or working in a warehouse, you know, and this and that. And then another pro to having your CDL and being a truck driver, man, is just freedom. You know, you're not sitting in an office, you're not in a warehouse, you're not, you know, sitting in your car at a security guard post or sitting in a guard shack, you know, just basically just sitting there waiting and getting paid chump change. because I did security for a long time, for some years, and I guess back then, man, like in the early 2000s, minimum wage was low, and so the security jobs wasn't paying that much anyway. But yeah, man, you pretty much have that freedom to just kind of be out there by yourself. You're out there on the road, or even if you local, you in the truck. It's just you. Especially if you by yourself, man, it's just you. You get to listen to what you want on the radio. You get to stop if you have time and, enjoy your lunch, eat where you want to eat. You don't have no supervisor or none of that stuff. Nobody breathing down your neck, watching your every move, telling you, hey, why isn't this done? Why isn't that done? And man, it's nothing like that. Just having that freedom of not having to have somebody watching your every move, or breathing down your neck and constantly on your back about your work and this and that. Just having that freedom just to be out there on your own and just doing your job, man. And then another con to having your CDL, especially if you're driving over the road, is being over the road and traveling. You get to travel to different states, and I done been to a lot of states, I mean, I can't say that I've been to a lot of states where I actually had time to explore, sightsee, enjoy my time there, but even just the scenery, because I like traveling, so even just having that opportunity, man, to visit some of these different states and be able to see, different landmarks and monuments and stuff like that. To me, it was exciting, to say, hey, I did that. I've been there in my lifetime. I've been to that place. I've been to that state. I've seen that monument. I've seen that landmark. So, that's another positive to having your CDL. Another one too that I'm experiencing now is being an owner operator. And so basically, a way that you can do it, if you start out like I did, not really having the credit, having the money, saved up, to be able to just go out there and just put money down on your own truck. And I didn't know anything about even starting my authority. I didn't even know how to get my authority, DOT numbers and all of that stuff. I just knew that I wanted to be an owner operator. And quite honestly, I thought that all owner operators, when I first started thinking about being an owner operator, I was clueless, man. I thought that all owner operators, was leased on the companies. I never even knew that you can get your own authority. I mean, as crazy as that may sound, it's like, how you not know that being a truck driver? And this was some years into the game, man. At least 10 years into the game before I even knew about getting your DOT numbers and all of that stuff. Man, I was clueless, Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, lie, and say that I knew everything. But man, if you able to get your own truck, and that's what I did. I leased on to, when I first started out, I leased on with Schneider and got a truck through their finance company, Schneider Finance, and that's how I got my feet wet in the owner-operator game. And it was a good experience, man. I flew out to Green Bay, Wisconsin for orientation, stayed there for almost a week, or about a week. Orientation, got a brand new truck. It was a brand new 2017, I think it was, 16, 17. Freightliner Cascadia. I think I had 47 miles on my truck, 48 miles when I first got it. So it was a brand new truck, brand spanking new truck. First person to live in that truck and take it out over the road. And it was cool, man. Like, you definitely got to hustle. I think my biggest downfall with that is the fact that I already had 2 kids when I became an owner operator. So that was kind of it wasn't a huge issue because I lived in Arizona at the time with my youngest son at that time, but my oldest son stayed in Cali. And the good part about it is, his mom, whenever he was on any type of break, he would be in the truck with me. So that was the good thing, I was able to have that time with my oldest son and with my youngest son when I was home. But yeah, it was kind of difficult, because when you lease onto these companies, you really gotta work hard. You gotta push hard and get your miles under your belt, man, to make some really good money. Because becoming an owner operator and leasing onto a company, especially if they're the ones that's footing the bill for that truck, they gonna charge you. They definitely gonna hit you, man. You definitely gonna be paying way more than what you should be paying if you drop some money down out of your own pocket to get you a truck. Your truck note gonna be sky high. And most people like me, first starting out, don't really know no better. You want a brand new truck. That's just like going to a car dealership. Who doesn't want a new car? Who wants to go to a car dealership and say, you know what, it's 2021, but I'm gonna take that 2008 Honda that you got right there. Some people don't mind. Some people will do that. If you got that mindset, that mentality, and you like, hey, I know a Honda is a good quality car. It's gonna run, and I'm not trying to have no huge car, no huge payments, this and that. I'm trying to save money. But ultimately, if you got the credit and you got the money to go get you a brand new car, anybody would want a new car, man. It's just something about it. So it was the same thing with the truck. I wanted a brand new truck, and that's what I got. But my insurance, fuel, truck note, all of that stuff was taken out of my settlement. And at the end of the day, I was still making, over $1,000 a week, depending on how far I was willing to go and the lanes that I decided that I wanted to run. But to make really good money, you definitely got to be pushing and getting those miles in front of your belt in order to really make some decent money when you lease it onto a company. But it's definitely a plus, man, to have your CDL and then to be able to become an owner operator. And then when you're able to have that money to put down on an actual truck, get your own authority, all of that stuff, and then you get into getting trailers and stuff, oh my God. And the door's going to open up so wide, man, and that money start flowing in. And it's like, it's a good feeling to be able to provide for your family, provide for yourself, and just to be able to make that money, man. Being an owner operator, and then you talking, I mentioned freedom, that freedom of not having a supervisor breathing down your neck. When you a company driver, you still got a dispatcher, you got a supervisor, whatever. They'll be hitting you up on the computer in the truck or phone calls or whatever, where you at, why is it taking so long, how long, what's your ETA to this drop, this and that. But when you a true owner operator, you got your own authority and all of that, that freedom, man, it gets that much better because you really don't have to answer to nobody. You're a partnership with that company that you're pulling those loads for. So you don't have a supervisor. You're your own boss. You're your own supervisor. You're a true boss because you have your own truck. You have your own authority, your own DOT numbers, all of that stuff. So anything you do affects you and your company, not the company that you're pulling for. Yeah, if you get in an accident with their trailer, it looks bad, for them. But that's what your insurance is there for, to cover, that the cost of repairs and all of that stuff. But ultimately, at the end of the day, anything that happens falls on you and your company. So that right there, man, in itself has been a huge plus. With me having my CDL and been driving for this long, man, is becoming an owner operator, having my own authority and all of that stuff, man. The money is it's amazing. I would never imagine, years that I would be bringing home 4.5, sometimes, close to $5,000 a week, and driving local and being home every day. Like, that's crazy to me. Now, I know, a lot of y'all might say, oh man, I make more than that, whatever, what have you. Okay, that's cool, but the things that I'm willing to do, the amount of loads I'm willing to do in a day, the amount of hours that I'm willing to do in a day, I make that choice, I make that decision. And that's another plus to it, is you get to decide how many loads you want to do, how many hours you want to work, and sometimes where you want to go, how far are you willing to go. And that's on the local side and driving over the road, because they'll tell you, it's no forced dispatch. They're not going to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. They'll tell you that even as a company driver, but a lot of these big companies, man, they be capping big time. They'll tell you one thing, when you get there, it's something totally different. But that's the huge side of being an owner-operator, and being a true owner-operator and having your authority, is you don't have to deal with none of that. You basically, you're your own boss. So, that's pretty much it, man. That's kind of my take on, the pros and cons of getting your CDL. So, for those that are thinking about doing it, thinking about getting it, and you kind of on the fence about it, man, do it. You won't regret it at all. And that's the honest to God truth. You always gonna have a job. There's always companies out there hiring. Even when the pandemic hit, even back in 2008, man, there was so many people that lost their jobs in corporate America that turned to truck driving. Like, I didn't talk to people that were truck driving, and you can look at them and tell, like, the way they dressed and all of that stuff, just their whole swag. And you like, man, like, what'd you do before you start driving trucks? Because, when you at these truck stops or at these spots, man, drivers get to talking, they all sitting around waiting. Like, oh, how long you been driving? Oh, man, I just started. I've been driving for a year. I've been driving for 6 months. Oh, what was you doing before you started driving? Oh, man, I was working in a lab, a science lab, or I was a pharmacist. I was, it was all kind of stuff, man. I was an office manager, and, I was a manager at a convenience store, whatever, man, anything under the sun. And those companies that got hit and that kind of went under, man, a lot of those people turned to truck driving because they knew the value in driving trucks and getting your CDL. And the fact that, between 75 and 80% of everything that we use as consumers is moved on a truck. So we pretty much, trucking makes the world go round, man. If trucking stop, everything else eventually gonna start shutting down. So get it, man. If you're thinking about getting your license, go ahead and get it. Just go for it. It's gonna be ups and downs. It's gonna be trials and tribulations. Trust me, man. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's not, that it's all hunky-dory and peaches and cream and all of that stuff, because it's not. You're gonna run into issues, problems. It's gonna get hard at times. You're gonna miss your family, and you're gonna be like, man, I don't want to do this. You're gonna be second guessing yourself, but just hang in there, man, and just, put that time in, pay your dues, and before you know it, man, you're gonna really start to see it just pay off. It's gonna really start paying off, and the sky's the limit from there. So, like I said, definitely go for it, man. For those of you that are looking to get your CDL, I say go for it, and you won't regret it. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. I'm on my way to the yard, man. I just dropped my last load. So I am done. I'm about to get to the yard, jump in my vehicle, and get to the house to my wife and my kids, man, and lay it down so I can get up in a few hours and get the other kids off to school. So, like I said, man, like, comment, subscribe to my video. I'll be dropping more content about becoming an owner operator, the process, getting your authority, all that stuff. If anybody got any questions or anything that they want me to answer, go ahead and leave it in the comments.